Hey everybody, Vivian here with a tutorial for Scraps of Darkness Kit Club. I'm using the March Dayglo kit and I decided this time to do a card. I have some stills to show you of detail shots. And I don't know if you guys caught my last video, Tread Gently. It was a 12 by 12 layout, but the colors are pretty intense. And for this video, I wanted to use some of the softer papers from the SEI collections that were included in the kit and work off of the colors in some of those papers and play a little bit with colors that lie opposite each other on the color wheel. I've also been having a lot of fun with hexagon shapes. I don't know if you've seen any of my recent cards. Actually, the last layout had some chipboard hexes on there too. So you can see those here. And you'll see I took some of the really neat chipboard pieces that came in the main kit and cut them up to create some abstract geometric shapes. And here are some little blossoms that I die cut with just plain white cardstock and misted and used some of the really cool Inca Gold Viva Decor paste that was included in the, I believe it was the Creativity add-on for this month. So you can see what I'm talking about. These SEI papers are really beautiful and atmospheric, very watercolory. And there are also some, I would call it kind of like foiling design elements. And those are really cool because they kind of resist the application of media. So when you apply media like mists or distress inks, those areas will stay their shimmery, silvery shininess. They'll keep that. And I used a Prima mask that came in the color add-on. This is also from the Sunrise Sunset collection from Finnabair. And all that extra mist that was left on the mask, I'm just pressing down into an art journal so I can use it as the basis of an art journaling page down the line and not waste any of that wonderful media. So I'm paper punching some little hexagon shapes that I'm totally nuts about. I know the trend started several months ago, but now is the time, maybe because it's spring and I need some bees to pollinate my plants. I'm really excited about everything honeycomb. So you're going to see a lot of those from me. So I'm paper punching them out of, did you see that beautiful light mossy green paper from SEI? And the silver foiling. Very, very cool stuff. I'll probably hoard it, what I have left. And it kind of plays off of that sort of grayish green moon shape. So I'm going to use that design that's already on the paper and try to help that color, that grayish green color, move across my little mini canvas. So I'm just going to adhere these pieces in a natural sort of spray going somewhat diagonally down the front of my card front. I'm using my current favorite liquid adhesive. It's called, and I think I mentioned it in my last video, it's called Glue and Seal. It's a Ranger product. And because the mists in this month's kit are Tattered Angels chalkboard mists in yellows and oranges, I decided to create some contrast with colors that lie opposite those two on the color wheel. So I'm not sure if you guys, a lot of you probably know this already, but I find it so fascinating how when you pair colors that lie opposite on the color wheel, both colors appear more vivid. And because see how that silver foiling is still showing through? Very cool. And also, well, later you'll see what happens. When I sand away parts, some of the paper comes up, and that area that's foiled didn't allow the media to soak through. So you have some really cool grungy patterns that happen when you actually sand away the top layers of the paper. So this is a purple gelato, and I'm including it in this sort of atmospheric background because I want to, and you'll see this later, make the yellow elements pop a lot more. These days I'm also really enjoying using a sanding block as one of my major crafting tools. See how we can pull away some layers? I love when that happens. And you can see some of the patterns are still there, even on the lower layers of the paper. Using a sanding block in conjunction with die cuts that you've purchased, or pieces of paper that you've punched, or pieces of paper that you've die cut, using it on top of your project after you've adhered those pieces to wear away those edges, those raised edges all around, and help distinguish the die cut pieces in a way that's very natural and old looking and somewhat grungy. And it also creates some really cool lines from the grains of sand on your paper. So this is what the chipboard element looked like when it arrived at my house. And for this project, I'm excited because I have some of those left, but for this project I just cut them up into really interesting abstract shapes. And I gessoed them. Now I'm going to spray those with the chalkboard mist that came in the color add-on for March's kit. And it's a beautiful light, a semi-opaque yellow. And all that extra mist that's left on my mat, I'm just rubbing it all in there to give it a good coating. I pulled just a couple of those pieces randomly and misted those with the orange color that was included in the kit. FYI, those were chalkboard mists from Tattered Angels in apricot and banana pudding. Very pretty. Also very subtle, very light. So because we've got yellow and orange in there, I decided to use some purple and blue. I love orange and blue together. All different types of oranges and all different blues. But I don't know if you can see here, this yellow looks so pretty against the purple. It just really brightens the yellow to have the purple behind it. I didn't put enough adhesive on one of my hexagon shapes and it kind of came off. And then I realized that the area of the paper that had been preserved was a pretty cool effect. So I just took that piece and adhered it elsewhere on my card front. Using my hot glue gun, I very carefully applied hot glue to the backs of these very narrow pieces and adhered them to the front of my card in a pattern that pleased me. I added some of those pieces that I had misted with the apricot Tattered Angels chalkboard mist in the general vicinity of the blue color that I had applied to my background to get those oranges to pop just a little bit more. And basically applied these pieces in a pattern that's more concentrated to the edges of the card front, which are much more diffusely placed. I die cut a few little rosettes from a Sizzix die that I have out of a pure white cardstock and just misted them, as you can see, with the chalkboard mist for a really subtle dose of color. I really love that peach color. And then just dipped some leaf shapes from the same die into what was left over on my mat to get them to coordinate in color with the rest. I distressed along the edges of these geometric shapes, the rectangular turns and the hexagon edges, to get them to pop just a little bit more. And to get into those nooks and crannies, I used just a fine, very small brush to get the black distress in there. And I've showed you guys before how I do that with the distress marker. I incorporated my handy dandy piece of sandpaper again to get those hexagon shapes to emerge once again, because some of the distress got onto the edges. And then I added some of those blossoms that I misted. The jury is still out on whether or not that was a good move. I loved the piece as it was, completely abstract. But if you guys follow me, you know I'm a little bit tentative about moving into completely abstract territory. But that is where I am in my crafting journey right now, sort of walking the line between realistic and abstract, dipping my feet into abstract waters here and there. I may keep this project just to remind me of where I am. It's still, I still like it, but you know, I've heard a lot of other crafters say that when they go abstract, they need just something very real to ground the whole thing. So that's how I was feeling. But next time I'm just going to go whole hog and do it all abstract because that's what I like. So this is the Viva Decor paste that came in our creativity kit. And I like to just dig it out of there and wet it when I'm applying it onto surfaces like the tips of the petals. But as you saw before on the leaves, I just took that cap-like thing that is included in the top, put some of the paste on it, and rubbed it on top of my leaf shapes for a really rough, gravelly type of silver effect. This paste gives a beautiful, beautiful shimmer to your projects. It's kind of hard to see it in the video, even though this is an HD video, what that shimmer is like. But it's just a really, really nice final touch. And it's definitely something that I'm going to want more of. That's one of the aspects about being in the Scraps of Darkness Kit Club that I really, really appreciate. Melinda really knows her stuff. That's the owner. And by being a part of the Kit Club and subscribing to the color and creativity add-ons, you get to try out products that you might never have heard of before, or that you may have heard of that you were a little bit wary about trying. And here you guys get a team of educators to help show you fun ways you can use them as well. So it's really great. So here I'm going to pan through my card project. These chipboard shapes are from Gina's designs. And so I cut those up into really abstract pieces. And we've got a composition that moves across our little mini canvas with a lot of sanding, just repeated sanding at different stages throughout the creation of the project to create a nice sense of age and grunge. Thanks so much for watching. This is Contadina K on YouTube, so if you haven't subscribed to me here yet, please do. I've got a lot more coming up, and if you'd like more inspirations, you can also visit me on my blog, www.contadinak.com. Thanks again, and see you next time.